Hi, so what I'm going to show you today is the CRL and OCSP services that come with Certdog. I'm going to start by showing you how easy it is to set those up for a local CA that is hosted within Certdog. And then I'm going to show you how you could use the OCSP service within Certdog to provide OCSP services for a Microsoft CA. Okay, so let's start off with the internal CA. So over here on the left, we've got local CAs and CA configuration. And we have two CAs set up there. We have a root and an issuing CA here. And this issuing CA was issued from that root. Okay, let's just take a look at the configuration here so we can see the issuer name there. And down here, we can see that generate CRLs is disabled, as is OCSP. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all is just check this generate CRL box here, and it's going to populate all of this info for us. Okay, first of all, the CRL name, so this will be the actual file name. It's quite long, so let's just reduce that down and make it just like internal ca.crl. And then we can set the lifetime, so this is 5 days, let's just make it 2 days, and this generation period is how often that CRL will be regenerated with up-to-date revocation status information. And let's just make that really short, say like 5 minutes. And here, this is the URL that will be inserted into certificates that are issued from this CA. Okay, and this is just the where the local file will reside on the file system. So let's just, first of all, I'm going to take a copy of this URL so that we can test this. I'm going to update that. Okay, and that's it. So what we've got here is the Crestfield OCSP CRL monitoring tool. And what that enables us to do is monitor CRLs and OCSP endpoints. So I'm going to start with a CRL distribution point. So this is issuing CA, adding a test case here. And I'm going to place that URL that I just copied from that CA. So first of all, let's just do a test the download, make sure it's there. And there it is. Okay, there's the name of the issuer, and it was just generated with a 2-day lifetime. Okay, so we can just add some rules here. It must have a lifetime of more than 5 days. Well, it won't. We set it to have a lifetime of more of 2 days. So this test case would actually fail. The frequency, we could have this running every 10 seconds. And then you can do things like set failure actions if this fails. So if we just applied that as it was, and then start this monitoring tool, once it starts, you can see it's failed there as we predicted because it's less than 5 days. So we can just change that to say lifetime must be more than 1 day. If it gets beneath 1 day, we know something's gone wrong, and we would want an alert or some kind of error message warning in that case. And there it's succeeded, you can see over here. So that's all working. CRL services are working. So let's enable OCSP. Go back to the local CA configuration, edit this local internal CA, and all we have to do for an internal CA is click this button. Okay, and then click update. Everything has been created, and we can take a look at that over here. So if we go to OCSP servers, a OCSP server was created for us, and if we have a look at that, all of the settings, the username, password, and how to obtain OCSP signing certificates has all been set up for us. And this, because it's an internal CA, will get this status information direct from the database. So as soon as you revoke a certificate, within seconds, that information will be available via the OCSP server. Okay, so when it first starts, it's going to take a little while to set itself up, and it's going to obtain a certificate from Certdog. Okay, so it's also set up a few other items. One is an issuer, so we have a look at that. It created an issuer against an OCSP signing profile, and it's created a user and a team, and you don't really have to worry about these things too much, just to know that they were created by the OCSP server, and when you delete the OCSP server, they will all be removed. but for now, all the permissions and everything has been set up. So let's monitor this OCSP server, okay, just to make sure that it has been set up correctly. Now, when we monitor an OCSP server, we need to send it the serial number and issuer information for the certificate we want to check, because it's not like a CRL where we download the CRL with all the serial numbers that have been revoked. We send it a single request. So to set that up, we need an actual certificate issued from this CA to test against. So we're going to do that by requesting a certificate from that CA. Okay, so I'm going to call this OCSP cert. And I have a internal TLS certificate issuer set up, and that's just going to issue me a TLS type certificate, which is fine for these purposes. In fact, yes, and just to make things easy, I'm just going to get it to create the CSR for me. Okay, so now we have this certificate. Let's download this certificate. Okay, we're going to keep that, and we're going to have a look at the folder here. Okay, so we're going to come over to the monitor, and we're going to create a new test case, and this time it's going to be OCSP. So this is OCSP test. Now we have some information that we need to fit in here. We have the URL, the OCSP URL, we'll get that in a second, whether we want to post or get the certificate that we're going to test against, and then we have several test options there. So let's get this URL. So if we come back to the CA configuration here, here, AIA OCSP location, that's the URL we need. This location will be added into issued certificates to tell them where to get their revocation status from. Okay, and now we're going to choose that certificate that we downloaded, which was called OCSP test. Okay, so the issuer, because the issuer certificate isn't in the Windows Store, we must provide that as well because it needs that issuer information. Now, the easiest way to do that is if we go back to our certificate that we just issued and go to issuer, and then just download that certificate as well. Okay, and then if we come back here, there's the issuer. Okay, so we have several options here. Initially, we're just interested that the OCSP server is operating, and then we can develop more tests later on. So let's make it quite a frequent test for now. And then we're going to click apply. Okay, and if we click over here on the results pane, we can see that the server is now returning good responses. Okay, and it's as easy as that. Set up OCSP services for an internal CA. So in the next video, we're going to talk about setting up OCSP server for the Microsoft CA. Thank you.